Goodbye, hero. Goodbye, Miki. As the days passed, I came to understand Hiro's preference for ending things quickly. What would we have gained by discussing it any further, or of telling each other how we wished there were some other way? Would it really have made me feel any better if Hiro had broken down and tried to talk me out of it? Well, okay, that would have felt great. But he didn't, and there was no point in dwelling on it. What I had to remember was that I'd done the right thing. Not the easy thing or the enjoyable thing, but the right thing. In keeping with Hiro's advice, I tried to avoid places we'd gone together, since they would only stir up memories and prolong the process of getting over him. After careful deliberation, though, I decided to allow myself one brief walk back to Tanaka's rice paddy, the place where we'd met, the place where I first called out to him, and inadvertently set the whole crazy thing in motion. I went there hoping for a sense of closure, but all I could feel was regret. As I stood there, something began to crumble inside me, and suddenly, all the time I spent with Hiro, every hour I devoted to being with him or even thinking of him, it all seemed like a colossal mistake. For a moment, I wanted nothing more than to go back and undo it all. Just wipe it all. Every minute of it. Every last second. I imagined someone traveling back in time and standing in that very spot, waiting for the me that I'd been that day. The girl whose only concern was finding a stupid arrow she fired off in oblivion. How easy it would be to stop her, to talk her out of it, to explain to her that she would never find that arrow, and that she'd be so much better off if she just turned around and went right back to where she come from. How easy it would be to save her from meeting that strange boy with a startled look in his eyes. Save her from the foolish relief that she would ever have a future with him. Save her from the scars she would quietly bear for the rest of her life. Miki! Yumi, thank God I found you. I've been looking for you everywhere. Really, why? So I can apologize to you. You know? The whole water in the face thing? Yumi, I don't blame you for that. It was understandable under the circumstances. Well, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. The thing is, Tomomi confessed to me last night. She was the one Katsu left me for. Really? I know. Can you believe it? They started secretly dating weeks ago. So, what did you say to her? Look, I'll tell you the truth. I wanted to be angry with her. She deserved it for sure, but I'm with Yoshi now. So, Yoshi the sleazeball? I know, but he's not nearly as sleazy as he looks. I swear, come on, let's go to the cafe. We've got so much to catch up on. I don't even know where to start. So Yumi and I patched things up and went back to being the good friends we always been, and just in time too. Since the very next morning, I was leaving town with my parents for a 10-day trip to Kyushu. As we sat there on the train waiting to go, I tried to work up some enthusiasm. for the calming change of scenery, or for the nice hotels we'd be staying at, or for anything at all, really. Finally, I just gave up and stared off into space until my eyes fell upon a long dragonfly hovering outside the window. It just stayed there almost motionless, just a few inches beyond the glass, its eyes locked on mine, almost as if it knew me. I jumped to my feet and told my parents I was going to the bathroom, then dashed out the nearest door I could find. The dragonfly was right there waiting for me, but not for long. It took off down the platform, so I took off after it, determined not to let it out of my sight. Then, before I could even begin to make sense of what was happening, there he was, right in front of me. Without a word, without a gesture, he came closer to me until Hiro, what does this mean? It means that things must take their natural course, in love above all else. You and I have to be together, Miki. It may be foolhardy, it may even be wrong, but it cannot be stopped, not by you, not by me, not by anyone. There were so many things I wanted to say to Hiro right then, so many questions I wanted to ask him, so much I wanted to, but may I have your attention, please? The Yamabiko train, bound for Kyushu, is leaving from track number 2. All passengers should be aboard at this time. Hiro, go on, Miki, get on the train. I'll be here when you get back. And don't worry about the rules we are breaking. None of that matters to me anymore. I'm making my own rules from here on out. So I boarded the train and took one last long look at Hiro, my heart beating like crazy, my head spinning with the thought of what we had just done. Right before the door closed, Hiro handed me a small oblong box. This is for you. For me? You mean you got me something? Not exactly. I was saving it as something to remember you by, but that's not necessary anymore, is it? Before I could say another word, the door slit closed. The train began to move, and seconds later, Hiro was gone. I didn't want to risk any prying questions from my parents, so I found a seat in a different car, then sat down to open the box that Hiro had given me. It took me a moment to see it for what it was, and to understand that the only way Hiro could have come into possession of it was by searching for it for hours and hours, ankle deep in the water of Tanaka's rice paddy. As the train took me further and further away from Fukuyama, I closed my eyes and pretended that I was still back on platform with Hiro, that I was wrapped up in his arms, my head against his chest, and that there was no need to rush and nothing to worry about, because the two of us could stay that way as long as we wanted to. And though I wasn't really back in Hiro's arms, I knew I would be soon enough. Okay.